And Kenya has produced numerous incredible actors, but who could ever forget Oliver Litondo? What an actor, what a man. We all knew him growing up as the broadcaster on various channels from VOK to BBC and later on KTN. But in between all those roles, Will Be Conspiracy, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Later on, that incredible multi-award-winning movie, The First Grader. Oliver still fighting to get Kenya on the Hollywood map to this day. He's my guest tonight, and a little later we're going to be joined by Hollywood producer and founder CEO of Sixth Sense Productions, Richard Harding. Amongst his many credits, Hotel Rwanda and that movie clip you just saw there, The First Grader. First, this man, I tell you, I love talking to him because he makes sense. Bottom line, he makes sense. And we have to get to grips with this movie industry here in Kenya. It could be bigger than tourism, a lot of people say. Let's talk about it tonight. Oliver's Twitter handle is @OliverLitondo. Mine is @Koinange Jeff. The hashtag we're using tonight, and start tweeting your questions, comments, and anything you want to say. Hashtag is Keep It Kenyan. Keep it Kenyan. Oliver Litondo. Good to see you, my brother.
Always nice to see you. Nice being on your show.
And
actually.
you say JKL stands for?
Jeff Koinange Litondo.
I love it. I love it. Oliver, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Look, let's face it. There's been movies that recently, some horrific news we're hearing.
Yes.
The Westgate story.
Yes.
It's gone to South Africa.
Yes.
The Dan Eldon story. The journey is the destination.
Right.
That's gone to South Africa. The Richard Leakey movie could go, may go. We don't know. Isn't that sad?
It is sad, and it's even sadder to remember those movies that you've just mentioned and realize that they've been made on location in South Africa, because those are Kenyan stories. There's no reason why they shouldn't have been made here in Kenya. But you know, the reasons that make movies go to South Africa are very simple.
Yeah.
That we have not created an enabling environment for producers from Hollywood, the ones who take these movies to South Africa, for them to come and shoot
And
movies
for them,
here.
it's a business.
For them, it is a business. And even for Kenya, it could be a business, an investment as well. And if we realize why South Africa is wooing these people to go to their country, we will then realize that there's a big question about finances, income, investment, and making money for the countries that the movies go to. And Kenya should be one of those countries.
And the Hollywood producers, the one thing they keep saying is, we want incentives.
Yes.
That's all they ask for, incentives.
Yes.
You know, duty free, or don't charge duty on our equipment.
Yes. Or if we come in with so much money in dollars, we would like you to do a bit of discounting. We bring in 10 million. How much do you discount for us? By discounting, then you are encouraging more the volume of films coming. Instead of having one film every 5 years, and you get the 10 million shillings in 5 years, you'll be getting 5 films every month or every year. If you give them that incentive, you make that money from the volume of the films that you are going to attract into this country.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oliver, let's face it, 30 years ago, let's go back 30 years.
Yes.
Out of Africa. What did that movie do for Kenya?
That movie, I think, at that time sold Kenya. It was a wonderful story written by a Kenyan who had come in from outside, the experience that she had and the things that happened when she was living here. Where she lived in Karen is a big story in Karen. Kenya, it was not just confined to Karen. There were scenes that were shot on location in other parts of Nairobi. So it sold Kenya as a tourist attraction. It sold Kenya as a place where people are happy to see filmmakers come, welcome them, Give them the due hospitality that Africans always give to guests. And this is reverberating even now. Film producers in Hollywood say Kenyans are loving people. We love them.
Yeah.
They're hard-working people. That's why we would like to come to Kenya. Kenya has got all the scenes that the whole world can offer. So you come here, you shoot the scenes that you could shoot, one in LA, one in Europe, one in South Asia, and so on. They're all here in Kenya. So you are putting these scenes and these geographical regions into one basket.
And why aren't we doing that? Because for one thing that Hollywood producers say,
yes,
we have 365 days of fantastic weather.
Right.
Fantastic weather.
Yeah.
We have great landscape.
Yes.
We have great people. People willing and hardworking. What is wrong with this picture? What aren't we doing right?
I think we're starting to understand where we have been going wrong. I'm glad that the Ministry of Culture is coming into grips with what has been happening or what has not been happening. And they're working on that. And at the moment, as I sit here, I think I have some optimism that something is being done, and the Ministry of Culture is working very hard to find out where they can now make good on incentives, how they can now start trapping these people who go to South Africa by offering them what South Africa offers, or what Australia offers, or what Canada offers. So it's even much more.
Yeah, but
they're beginning to understand
Westgate
that.
is gone. Westgate is gone.
Well,
it happened here. They're going to recreate Westgate in South Africa.
Yes, it is gone. If it is gone because we have not as yet, up to this moment, or the time it was going, we didn't know what we should be doing. Now, if other films are, and I know they're in the pipeline, if from now on, after sounding these alarming bells, these movies go to South Africa, then we'll say there's something wrong with Kenyans, there's something wrong with the government, there's something wrong with the private sector, there's something wrong with the producers who are locally based here. We would then start blaming ourselves, because we know now what we should do, and
Oliver,
we should be doing.
Oliver, it is not rocket science. The fact that if we had these movies here, we gave these producers the incentives.
Yes.
We'll create employment. We'll
Yes.
give the country major PR, so we don't have to pay companies PR.
Yeah.
It would be a win-win for this country.
It is.
It's
It
not
is.
rocket science.
It is. You know, when I accepted one of the awards for the film, the First Grader in Hollywood, when they asked me to make a speech, my speech was 5 minutes long, and I said, come to Kenya. I told the producers, the directors, the actors and actresses who were there present, I told them, come to Kenya. Why? Because of, you'll create employment for our employed youth. You have good, as you said, 24-hour sunshine. You have a hard-working population in the Kenyan people. You have all the foods you would eat in the world in Kenya. And come to Kenya, and they're ready to come. There's a clip, a short 5-minute clip that I made of some of these producers saying why Kenya stands out above all other countries as a film destination.
Oliver, you mentioned The First Grader, and you know it's a movie, the first big movie we had seen in a long time. What did that do for Kenya?
It did quite a lot. It exposed Kenya to the producers in Hollywood. It produced a sense that Kenya has got people who can act on an international stage as actors who can even win, not can win, have won in Lupita Nyong'o. Oscars. It has shown the world that there are good stories that can come from Kenya and other African countries. It has shown the world that Kenya has got the scenery, the locations that we need for producing films. It has shown the world that independent filmmakers can go to Kenya and come up with such a great film as The First Grader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bottom line, Oliver, what is the disconnect? Is it government that doesn't get it? Is it who's dropping the ball in all of this?
I think the disconnect is an overall kind of thing. We cannot blame one sector of this country. We can blame maybe all the sectors in this country, because movie industry, the film industry is a business. The government is not in really for making money. It is not in the business of making business. It is the private sector which must think, how do we make money from the film industry? Take the US. It is not really the government that goes to Hollywood to say, you go and do this to make money. The government makes the policy. What is the policy about the film industry in Kenya, for instance?
Yeah.
Who now takes over that policy to implement? It's the private sector. Because it's the private sector which makes the money, which is into money making and making profits.
Yeah.
Therefore, I would say the government is involved, the private sector is involved, and the local production companies must come in also, and not sit back and say, the government, the private industry, what are we doing as filmmakers to start training our own people on the job of filmmaking, as well as giving them some incentive of some kind of a stipend or something that they can go back home with.
Yeah.
But we are training them as they earn, so that the film industry that we are talking about will be wholly and truly Kenyan.
Let me ask you this, Oliver.
Yes.
For the longest time, we made fun of the Nigerians with their Nollywood.
Yes.
We made fun of them.
Yes.
Today, that's a $3 billion a year industry
Yeah.
in Nigeria.
That
Kenyans are watching Nollywood.
and that just makes my argument real. Who is making those Nollywood films?
Locals.
Locals, businessmen, not the government. Locals, the film producers, locals, the businessmen, locals. You know, we have to come into grips by the fact that the creative industry must be understood in Kenya today. If we are looking at concrete cemented walls and we say that's where we want to expend our money, we must think, who created the concrete that you're going to buy? Somebody had to think. Somebody had to create an idea to bring that concrete together. Creativity is something that we cannot run away from. The quicker, the faster, and we understand the creative industry in Kenya today, and say, how does that creative industry create money for Kenya, the faster we will start coming to grips with making this country a film-making country.
Oliver, if it wasn't for the first grader, would you still be in Kakamega raising chickens?
Raising chickens. I probably would.
Yeah. Because they have forgotten you.
Not only that, when I look at what has happened between the first grader and now on the international film
circuit,
yes, nothing. So that convinces me that I will still be in Kakamega. Nothing has happened since the first grader. Why?
For you.
For me.
And yet, if you were Denzel or Morgan or Louis Gossett Jr. or any one of those, you'd be having 2 films a year.
By the way, you know, the first one of the many awards that I got, I beat some of the most well-known names in Hollywood.
Come on, mention one.
Mention one? Shall I?
Go on.
I beat Clooney.
George Clooney?
Yes. His film was shown to this audience. My film was shown that audience. Another actor's film was shown to that audience. And lo and behold, Oliver Litondo was the best actor.
This Kakamega chicken farmer?
This Kakamega chicken boy.